Chapters 19, 20, and 21 of Shri Krishna, the Lord of Love by Baba Premanand Bharati. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 19. Thus spring ripened into summer and autumn, and again the rolling seasons touched upon the heels of one another, and Krishna grew into greater beauty with each season of his earthly career. More and more the people of Vrindavan became absorbed in him. The young and old, those near and far, looked upon him as one without whom they could not exist. And so it was, the complete whole was he, of whom they were but parts, and ever were they reaching to again find the heart out of which they had sprung. His smile was to them the sun that warmed, his words the flowers which filled them with joy, his deeds the fruits which satisfied the hunger of their hearts. The very quick of their lives he was, and nothing lived, breathed, bloomed, or grew in Vrindavan, from the people to the cattle, creeping things, and all that grew, that did not draw life from the Lord that dwelt as youth among them. And the milkmaids, who in loving companionship oft with him roamed to the hillside, where with the other boys he tended the cattle, would in fond love contemplate the youth, knowing not what the potency was that drew them, forgetful of all duties, to his side. And among themselves they would speak thus: "Oh, how sweet is the hillside when Krishna is near! How sublime is his countenance, and his eyes how beautiful with piercing love light filled! Serene doth he stand, yet bewilderingly entrancing is the joy that comes to our souls by his glances that seek us in softness and kindness." Was aught as beautiful, they were wont to say, as our Krishna, clothed in blue and gold, with the crown of peacock feathers on his brow, and a garland of fresh flowers festooned from his shoulders? Why is it that flowers that girdle him thus never fade or wither or die, but deeper their colors and stronger their petals and sweeter their fragrance are, when in contact with him they have come? And the fields where he walketh, see how they smile, and give their treasures in greater abundance. And the rivers close by, they rise high on our land, as if to dwell longer on our banks, because our Krishna is here. At the notes of his flute, all exquisite, whose potent spell must charm all the living, see how his cattle do greet him, and tremble, and thrill at the sound of the music. And even the untamed things of the forest, with wistful look and nostrils spread, unbidden and unafraid, do stand on the crest of the hill, as if drawn and subdued by the influence of his love sound. Oh, the sound of his flute is proof against the iron-moulded mind, and can soothe a very giant of fierceness into gentleness by its sweetness. Checked is every fear, and rebellion is laid low in every heart, and a kingdom of love every home becomes wherein that sound hath pierced. Ofttimes it seemeth that time itself doth suit its step to keep pace with its rhythm, for note ye not how the sun doth stand loath to move, lest the sight and sound it loseth? Oh, why are we not the flute he holds to his lips? Blessed beyond all things it is, for his kisses it receives, and drinks the nectar of his love to its fill. What wonder that it joys to give the sound forth that his breath doth make? Or why are we not the trees under which he sitteth, and whose branches he counteth with happy gaze, or even the grass where he reclineth, that hath the dear privilege to caress his sweet body in lowly love, but we can only look on his face and die with longing when from him we go. Thus spake the maids, but their tongues could not tell what bliss overflowed the heart, welling up with love for him who wakened in every heart the love that was all divine, from the babe's first smile to the man who looked first on the glorious earth, and then to the arched sky, and then in his heart, and found there a sum of love that was all bliss. In Krishna, the youth who played the flute in the forest by night, on the hillside by day, in him who charmed all that was, they beheld the fullness of love. He gave them and received all bliss. He was the spring of love that had the more for the giving. He satisfied the most when many did draw from his well spring. To the heart of all mothers he came as a child, and in tenderness and joy they caressed him as such. Like a flower dropped untouched from heaven, they held him. The men he approached as a friend and a son, and gave and received the love that they craved and felt. The servant too he met in the way he sought to be known, and by him he was served and did serve. Thus to all he gave what they craved to have. Unstinted, unfettered he was in the giving, and none was there in all that land that sought and could not find what their hearts did seek. And to the maids who opened their pure young hearts for the all-enduring, mysterious love, he gave of his inexhaustible source the sweet touch that harmonized all things and made the heaven and earth to meet. All kindred were they, for he was their parent, and their love was but part of his holy flame. And with the light from that flame there awakened within them that which knew but love, which was but love. And Krishna it was who filled all their being, and outward consciousness to them was lost. Hail to thy maiden love, O Gopi! Thy love, the triumph of man and God, the crown of time's blessedness it was, O climax of happiness complete. Chapter 20. When the days of fasting came, the Gopis, as the scriptures commanded, began their worship by taking their baths in the sacred river Jamna. O happy waves, more holy made by the maids who stood in prayers in thy beds and threw on thy bosom the sweetest flowers that grew where Krishna's feet had fallen. Thus they worshipped each day for a month in the early morn, ere the sun was seen, singing on their way the songs of love and praise for Krishna, who was the first and the last and middle of all their day. One morning, while sporting and singing in the clear cooling waters, they beheld on the limbs of a tree close by the youth Krishna, enthroned in its branches and holding their wearing apparel in his hands. Crowned as usual with flowers was he, but a look all majestic was in his eye. Affrighted with shame, they begged for their garments, but Krishna replied, "Come and get your garments, either in a body or singly, O damsels, and salute to the sun shining over my head as near you approach." For a moment they hesitated, then that which as a shadow had crossed their heart, and is known as shame, departed from them, and saluting forward they came in a body, led by Radha, the loveliest and chiefest of the milkmaids, and dripping and lovely before him they stood. Completely they had surrendered their human will to the will of him who was divinity. Selfless, unyoked from all that was worldly, before him they stood, uncovered and free as they came from his heart. Again on that heart they gazed unashamed, for their souls were not covered with vice, or with piety, or even with virtue, but were bare as the love upon which they looked. They received the garments that he for them had. He, Krishna, the source of pure love was, and his garments to them were spiritual purity, and clothing themselves with the clothes of his giving, they joyfully went to the homes of their fathers. While Krishna, surveying his world, was enthroned in his kingdom of love, and as the gopis came to the feet of him who was the author of all love, so all must come empty and free from all earthly desires, to accept that love for love's sake. For naught cared the gopis but Krishna, desiring naught else beside. So only can love absolute be gained in absolute self-surrender. He who would have that love that is its own enjoyment, that love that a universe unto itself is, doth not find it easy to obtain it by merit, or piety, or even the fruition of highest spirituality, the bounds of all spirituality. It must pass to become the absolute and causeless love. Where spirituality ends, there causeless love doth begin. All love that hath the cause is of earth. Love that hath even a high spiritual cause is limited in scope, and such love may vanish when its cause is removed. But the love that is causeless, all enduring is. It fadeth not, neither doth it pass away, but by day and by night and throughout all time it waketh and accumulateth ever, for it is the love absolute. From the souls of the gopis the last trace of heaven and earth had vanished, and being resplendent with the glory of this love absolute, of the love that was unto itself substance and satisfaction, was the causeless cause, for this gift of all gifts from the hand of him who alone could bestow it, and alone was that love itself. Chapter 21. The summer sun beat down fiercely upon the gopas and the cattle, when Krishna turned to them, saying, "See the wonder of these trees. Kind beyond expression are they. They ask for naught but what the earth, sky, and sun, the night and day, give unto them. Yet in all loyalty they grow, and give shade unto us, and unto all that wish to partake of their shade. Their fruits also do they give, and their bark and leaves and juices to all who desire it. So should man also be, but few are there among men that live, but to bestow blessings upon others. Yet unto you I say, O my loved companions, only unto them that give of their abundance to all that come within their radius, unto them alone is life a blessing and not a curse. All men are placed here, not of their own free will, not yet unto themselves, but by the will of love and for others. And only as the law of give and take is set in operation among men, is man living a natural life. Ofttimes doth the man wonder why he is unto himself a huge perplexity. It is only when he forgets his relationship to all mankind that his life a riddle is. And this being so, he comprehendeth not the maker of himself, nor the universe, and failing to do so, how can he know life aright? After sporting among themselves, the boys spoke to Krishna, saying, O Krishna, a-hungered are we. Where, O where shall we find food? Canst thou not assist us? And Krishna answered them, saying, Go there yonder, where many Brahmins are performing religious ceremonies. Go to them, and in my name say unto them, to supply us with food. Say unto them that Krishna is wanting, and ask them therefore. The boys went, but when they delivered unto them the message of Krishna, the Brahmins answered not, neither gave them the food they wished, but proceeded with the ceremonies that were to give them the taste of heaven, after the breath had left their bodies. Tired and half famished, the boys returned unto Krishna, and told him of their failure to obtain food, and also of the indifference with which the Brahmins had received his message. Then Krishna smiled wisely, and told them to hurry to the wives of the Brahmins. He, knowing that women are ever devotional and have illumination, while ofttimes men in darkness are. And so it was. On hearing Krishna's request, they themselves hastened to him, in spite of the protestations and threats of the men of the families, and brought food of the finest sorts unto him, and prostrating themselves before him, spake, O Krishna, thou maker of all there is, blessed are we and ours, that thou hast called upon us to serve thee. We know thee, O Krishna, as one greater and nearer to us than our husbands, brothers, and fathers, and even at the risk of their displeasure to us, we come to thee to lay at thy feet our poor offerings and our hearts. Krishna answered, O women, noble and true are ye to me. Ye in your devotions have learned to know me as your soul. Dearer to ye am I, even than father, husband, and friends. Hence, at the risk of even their displeasure, do yet seek to serve me. I draw unto me all that reach towards me. Blessed are ye among men. Go back to those who are performing the ceremonies, and aid them in their rituals. Kindly shall they receive ye, and unto them will ye take my love, even as unto ye all I bestow it. When he saw the reluctance with which they departed from him, he said, Know that in the kingdom of love separation cannot be, and whatever heart doth meditate on me, in that heart I dwell in all my glory. Again, O know that by deeds I reckon ever, and not by words. Ye have served me by deeds, your husbands in their ignorance, by words alone. But do ye go unto them, and they too shall know and love the name of Krishna. And the women returned unto their husbands, who received them with demonstrations of pleasure, and they too worshipped Krishna in their homes and hearts. End of chapter 21.